let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
Stop! That's the signal! Go! Go! Fence! It's beautiful! Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up and let's go.
Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday. Happy June 16th, recovering from a Father's Day weekend. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Android app, good to have you along this morning. Thank you, YouTubers out there who are watching this morning. Give this channel a subscription, like the video, start leaving your comments. And you can also follow us on X at Rush Mornings, like our Facebook page, The Rush with Travis and Ross, and follow us on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. Good morning, Roscoe.
Morning, brother. We are gonna have a fun day talking about Iowa. We're probably gonna talk about our weekend a little bit, how Father's Day went. You mentioned the YouTube chat happening. Did you see Ray's comment right as you were going on the air? Did you see Ray's comment?
I did not.
All things together. This is Rabbit Hole. It's how we start our show. It's all the things together. It's Iowa. It's bringing in the community. Ray says, good morning, everyone. Hit deer number 11 last night.
Oh.
And it was an ugly mess. Hit deer number 11.
Man.
I tell you about the time I got in the accident with the guy that was riding the electric bike, and he hit my truck, and as parts were still in the air, I heard him yell, "Not again!"
Now, I'm just trying to think about this. Deer number 11. You know, when I would drive home after sound off, that was the one thing I worried about the most was hitting a deer. And knock on wood, I've only hit one deer in my entire life. This was back in 1994, I think it was. I was unemployed at the time. My wife and I were driving back from Des Moines. I still remember the mile marker. It was in between Dexter and Stewart. And I remember the cop saying, "Hey, where'd it go so we can have a chili feed?" Remember that? It basically totaled my car out.
I remember
that. You know, when you hit 11 deer, is there at any point where the insurance company says you're not insurable anymore? Because car insurance is kind of like home insurance. As soon as you have enough damage to your cars on multiple times, they kind of say, you know what, you're not insurable anymore. Now, this is a freak accident, but deer do damage. They do serious damage. I just got back from Fort Robinson. My son asked me yesterday, he goes, "Did you see any antelope?" I said, "Yeah, I did see some antelope. I saw bighorn sheep.
Yeah.
I saw deer. I saw bison. I saw a lot of things, but I never hit them." But does there come a point where you hit enough deer where the insurance company, State Farm, says, "I'm not a good neighbor anymore"?
Well, I think Ray's got to be a driver of some sort, because that's more than just the average guy. I don't know. Ray can maybe answer our question. Ray, do you have a hard time getting insurance because of the number of deer that pop up, dead deer carcasses that pop up on your driving record?
And why are deer so stupid? I mean,
dude,
why?
Do you remember the old 1980s deer whistle?
Oh, yeah, where you take those little plastic things and you put them on your front bumper and you think, oh, my God, this is going to scare a deer away. And then you realize we were all just sold some snake oil. I mean, that's it. All of a sudden, you look like, oh, man, I got the deer whistles on my bumper. And you thought you were really cool and you thought you were protected. You weren't protected from the deer whistle.
Dude from Iowa says, remember installing deer whistles on the front bumper? I remember that being a thing. Dad had that Cadillac. Dad was like, we're protecting the Cadillac with deer whistles.
And then you thought they were really cool because they were like, they looked to be chrome, but they weren't chrome. They weren't even metal. They were plastic. And you would put them on your front bumper. And it looked like it was like a fancy horn or something. It was like, yeah,
and
I got one on each side.
I feel like I remember them on like the sides of mirrors sometimes too. Like the sides of mirrors, bumpers, the back wing. You know, they put them on the strangest.
All right, go to the Google machine and see if you can
All right.
still find a deer whistle,
All right,
because I want to
deer
know if they're
whistle.
still selling the deer whistle, because they don't work. They don't work at all. We were sold a bag of goods.
They still sell them $6.99 from AutoZone. You can get a pack of deer whistles. They don't call them deer whistles anymore. They're called deer alerts.
Deer alerts. Da-da-dun. Deer alert.
Yeah.
You ever hit a deer?
You can still get them. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hit one with my Jeep one time. It had a metal guard on the front bumper. So I won that one. The one that I've told you about that was the craziest one was a deer that hit me. Ran alongside of my car. I'm driving. Most people know this stretch. It's by Sleepy Hollow. It's Dean Avenue, the area between the fairgrounds and Pleasant Hill.
So you're in the city. You're in the city.
Yeah, but this is a weird. That's why I specified it. This is a weird part of the city. Yes, I'm in the city, but dude, this at the time was gravel road, and it's like a cornfield to my right and ski lodge 9-hole golf or par 3 9-hole golf course to my left. That's now just a convention grounds for like what do they call those Wiccan conventions? What do they call those things with people? Renaissance fairs. Grounds for Renaissance fairs. So I'm driving along on Dean, and this deer comes out of the ditch on my driver's side. Runs alongside of me like we're friends. Like I'm driving, looking at the deer. And he runs alongside and then decides we aren't friends and headbutts my car. Turns it like, I'll show this car, bang, and then was flopping into the ditch.
Okay, I'm going to show something here. And I'm going to see if I can. Now, this is only good for YouTubers, but I'm going to try to describe what exactly is being shown here. This is the front end of Ray's truck. Oh, that's not it. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. No. I don't know.
Well, there's me and you.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's try this. It's not popping up. Oh, there it is.
Oh, Ray.
There it is. Now, he's driving a semi. So, obviously, if he's driving for a company, he's probably insured by the company. If he's an independent operator, he's got to come up with that insurance on his own. Now, he's got the front guard on the truck, but the truck didn't have any damage, which is nice.
Yeah, the truck doesn't look damaged at all. I mean, except for the, pound of blood.
Damn.
Holy cow, dude.
That deer is splattered all over the front end of that truck.
All right, can I ask a really stupid question? Maybe you know the answer to this one. Why is, again, I apologize up front for my ignorance. Why is Ray's license plate say Texas?
Oh, it's a good question. I don't have an answer to that. Maybe it's for the company he drives for.
Is that what it is? It's like it's whatever company it's.
Yeah,
because again, I don't know.
Growing up the son of a trucker, I don't want to be judgmental. But I mean, you're driving a Volvo truck. Why aren't you driving a Kenworth or a Peterbilt or a Freightliner? I'm just curious.
Again, my ignorance. When I saw the Volvo, I was like, "Oh, damn, Ray, good for you driving the Volvo." I don't know. He's usually around Iowa. Insurance is cheaper on the Texas. Good, okay, Ray.
There it is.
Shell game. I like it. Okay.
Yeah, deer did not win that battle last night, though.
Holy cow.
So for those of you listening on the audio stream, just picture a white truck and somebody took like a 2-gallon of blood and just threw it on the front of the truck, and it splattered all over the place.
Maybe we could get together and buy Ray some deer whistles. But even the internet says, do deer whistles for cars really work? Deer whistles are often promoted as a way to prevent car collisions with deer, but scientific evidence suggests they are not very effective.
You don't say. I'm trying to remember. I think I think my dad actually put those like on his truck because you fell for it. I mean, everybody fell for it. I mean, if you lived in a rural community and hell, you had them in Des Moines, you fell for, oh my God, this revolutionary piece of plastic is going to keep deer away from my car.
Trav, I don't know if I know somebody that hasn't hit a deer. I mean, if you've driven long enough, that is one of those, you've either hit a deer or you're gonna hit a deer.
It's inevitable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or you're going to have a brush with the deer. And don't forget, when you hit the deer, don't slam on your brakes. You go through said deer.
Go through contact.
Yes.
Drive through.
You drive through that thing. You kill it and you go through it. Because if you slam on the brakes, you have people behind you. You could swerve. That's one thing. And it's hard based on instinct, right? And I remember when that deer jumped out in front of me, I just kept going because I knew I was going to hit it. But if I slammed on the brakes, I probably put myself in bigger danger. So I just, boom, braced for impact and got rid of it. The scary thing is when you hit a buck, because if you hit a buck and that thing comes flying up over the windshield and goes through said windshield, those horns can do some damage, not just to the windshield, but to you. I've heard stories about that, getting stabbed by the antlers.
How was your Father's Day?
It was really, really good. And I told my wife this last night. I said it might have been the best Father's Day I've ever had.
No kidding.
Well, because all the kids called me, which was nice. I spent a lot of time with Owen yesterday. We went out to my mom's house. My brother's leaving for Portugal today. He's going back after almost 2 months here. And I got to say this, if it wasn't for my brother Nick, it would have been a much different transition for my mom's house because he did the majority of the cleaning, everything, got that thing cleaned out. We all live here and work full-time jobs, so we could not be out there all the time. Well, him living there for the last 2 months has been great because he did all the trips to the Goodwill, cleaned the place up, got rid of a lot of stuff. So he did a lot of work. So we went out there, and then we made dinner last night, and we made New York strips. We made crab legs. We made asparagus. We made corn on the cob. Had some wine. Had some strawberry shortcake. It was like the best Father's Day meal I could have. We could have gone to like a buffet, a China buffet, but we chose to.
We did a China buffet yesterday.
I know. That's why I brought
did I tell you that?
Don't you remember I called you yesterday afternoon to wish you a happy Father's Day?
I do remember that. Yeah. Nah, yeah. I had a good day. I ended up going kayaking, catching a nice bass out at the Moffett Reservoir. Eli paddled all the way across the reservoir and back, and Audrey, I got a little kayak for her. I just tie her up to mine, and she just gets to float. She's a little float princess. So she sat back there. I said she had a cooler, but she corrected me about 9 times. It was a lunchbox, but she had like 4 juice boxes in there. And then we took some frozen, this is a mistake. Cut up some watermelon last week. And we didn't eat all of it. And I thought, we'll freeze the watermelon and save it for later. You can't freeze watermelon. It's just mush. When it thaws, it's just mush.
I always thought that watermelon was and is watermelon a fruit? I believe it's a fruit.
I think it's a fruit.
I think, but
you're not supposed to freeze fruit.
Was one of those things where if you don't eat it on the day you cut it, you might as just throw it out.
And it wasn't expensive. I don't know why. It was just one of those things of like, I had them there. I'm like, let's throw them in a freezer bag. I think the plan was maybe to make like watermelon slushes or something like that. I can't remember why. There was a plan behind doing it. But then yesterday as we're leaving for the lake, I'm like, this will work as ice in your lunchbox. So here, it'll keep your juice boxes cold, and then when you would decide you want something to eat. But anyway.
So it became basically watermelon juice at that point. Yeah, you would have been enough. There's an extra juice box.
But it was fun. We had a really fun day.
I do have a question, because you caught you showed me the picture of the bass you caught. And that was a good-sized bass. Yeah. I was very impressed with the bass. Now, you did a catch and release. And I'm not a fisherman. My angling skills are not that good.
try to get you.
Well,
You can't see it.
overexposed.
Yeah,
with
it's
the light,
overexposed. Yeah, right.
But you threw that back. Are bass? Do people eat bass? I know you eat the sea bass, but every time I hear somebody catching a bass in a lake, they're like, I'm just throwing that thing back.
The line is that I'm supposed to use is I've never been that hungry. My dad used to eat bass when they on the river in Burlington. Growing up, my dad has told me when they ate the fish they caught, and if that was largemouth bass, it was largemouth bass. Bass have always been a sporting fish to me. When we're up in Canada, I've never seen a guy keep a smallmouth bass. I don't remember ever eating a largemouth bass. So I don't know. Maybe I have. I don't know. Not something I would ever seek out because they're just fun fish to catch. So get them back in the water so other people can do that.
See, you brought something. There are sporting fish, and then there are like crappie. You eat, right? You eat a bunch of crappie. Do you eat bluegill?
Yeah. You can eat bluegill. I mean, I think you can eat every fish. Like even Mike says it's not a carp, so yeah, you can eat them. Mike, a lot of people eat carp.
Oh, I know for a fact a lot of people eat carp. People like those
carp. Smoked carp is huge. That's it. There's so people will eat any fish. I don't care for catfish, so I don't usually eat catfish, and that's blasphemy to a lot of people, where they think catfish is the best fish. The best fish I've ever eaten was a northern pike, and there's people that don't eat northern pike because they're hard to clean. Anyway, so it's to each his own, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fish eater in general, but I will say the best fish I've ever had is a catfish. But it was in New Orleans, and I don't know if I don't know if that makes a difference in the way it's seasoned, everything like that. But I've also been at Taylor Grocery in Taylor, Mississippi, where it's just deep fat fried, right? I mean, it's like, okay, it's catfish, but it's fried so much that you can't really taste the fish part of it. You taste all the bread that's deep fat fried.
Right. Well, there's always that thing when people say, I like fish until it tastes like fish.
That's me. That's me. You nailed me. Now, we had crab legs last night. Are you a big crab leg guy?
It's a lot of work for them. It's a lot of work for what you get.
Well, there was a lot of meat on these. I think we got this.
Right.
But here's what Costco's been doing. And so we get the crab legs at Costco because they were like $15 off. So we got, but they pre-cut the claws. So it's all, you don't have to work very hard. So they're still in the claw, but you see where they've kind of been already cut to where it works pretty easy. But I'm with you. Like when you'd go to like the Crab Shack or something like that, and you'd have to use the pliers. It's like, it's messy and everything.
I'm a boy growing up in the 80s and 90s in Iowa. Do you know what my exposure to seafood was?
Zero.
Red Lobster. So that's why when you say crab legs, I'm like, do they taste like fair. Do they taste like rubber? Because the crab legs I've had taste like rubber.
And crab's a lot like lobster. You just bathe it in butter to where you really can't taste it.
That's
right?
That's with lobster. Same thing. It's like corn. Do you enjoy the corn, or are you just using it as a vessel for the salt and butter?
The vessel, and I use a lot of pepper too. So it's salt, pepper, and butter. And then how about some corn to go with that salt, pepper, and butter?
And then a little bit of tahini. You taught me a little bit of tahini
and mayonnaise if you really want
a little bit Cajun.
Yeah. Does anybody eat corn without salt, pepper, and butter?
Yeah, the long way. Never mind. Sorry, bad joke.
No, I thought it was a good joke. Really good joke. So yeah, so you went now. Do you own the kayaks or do you rent the kayaks?
No, I have two sit-in kayaks and one sit-on kayak, and so Audrey uses the sit-on, and then I just have a 50-foot nylon rope that I tie between the two, and then tow her around. But she still has a paddle and feels like she's being independent, but she doesn't get too far away from me. So
now, are those like blow up kayaks, or do you have to like
No.
put them on top of the Jeep, or you got a trailer?
in the Ford Ranger.
Okay.
I got throw them in the back of the Ford Ranger, strap them down. Yeah. Fun little system we got there.
See, and that's why you had a really good Father's Day.
Travis, and here, man, the universe. We went to this Chinese buffet, which I was not a fan of, but that was what my dad wanted to do for lunch. So we went there, and Eli and I were talking in the lobby, and I think he said to his aunt, "Yeah, we're going to go kayaking and go fishing." I did not even see this guy. I don't know where this dude came from. All of a sudden, behind me, this gentleman says, "Did you say you're going kayaking and fishing?" I turned around, this Hispanic guy standing there. I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "Man, we don't have a plan yet. I thought maybe he wants to go to Gray's Lake. I thought about taking him out to Mitchellville, to Thomas Mitchell Park." And this guy says, "Take him to Dale Moffett Reservoir. That's where I'm getting ready to go. The bass are biting down there. You can kayak and fish. It's easy to get to. Take him there." Okay.
That's the first time you've ever been there?
Yeah, first time I'd been there. That was a cool spot. So we'll be back.
One of those Iowa attractions that you did not know about.
There you go. Right.
See? And coming up later on in the show, we're going to be talking about Iowa attractions. And this came up. We're in the dog days of summer, folks. I mean, there's some sports going on, but it's not tremendously busy. But coming up probably in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about Iowa attractions. And I'm gonna tease you a little bit because Yelp. I'm not a Yelper, by the way. I don't spend a lot of time on Yelp, but Yelp is where a lot of people go and give reviews and everything like that. And the Boone Railway Adventure was voted the #1 attraction in Iowa. The irony of that is that we were driving back from Fort Robinson on Saturday or Friday or Saturday. And my wife says, "Hey, you know what I want to do this summer? I want to do the Boone Railway Adventure." This was before this story came out. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you basically get a 4-seater car.
They have 2-seaters and 4-seaters, and they're pedal bikes.
That sit on the railway.
Pedal car, I think is right.
Pedal car,
pedal bike. Pedal bike's a little redundant.
It's got 4 wheels. Some have 2-seaters, some have 4-seaters. And I said, yeah, I think that'd be fun. It's something that you see the views, you see the bridges you go over. If you're scared of heights, probably something you might want to brace yourself for. You don't have to wear a dorky helmet when you ride it. And
is that the problem with riding bikes? Is the dorky helmet?
Oh yes. I'm not a helmet guy. Are you a helmet guy?
Yeah. If I'm riding my bike, I wear my helmet.
All the time? Really?
If I'm going on a bike ride, I wear my helmet.
Okay.
Yeah. You wore the Grandview bike outfit to a strip club. You wore your bike shoes into a strip club, but you draw the line at the helmet. That's where it just looks too. It makes my part not look right.
I need to preface this. If I'm on the street, I'll wear a helmet. If I'm on a trail, usually don't wear a helmet. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. So she started looking at, going on the Boone Railway. You got to book now for like September. It is hard to get on.
Yeah.
And that just shows you that it is one of the top attractions in Iowa because it's unique. I think it takes like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to complete. That's what somebody said. So that's worth it. It's not cheap. It was like $175 for 4 of us. But I think we're going to try to get up there in September. You're trying to do that too, right? You tried to do it last year and couldn't get on?
Yeah, we just ran out of stuff last year. We did a lot. And dude, I won't be able to do it again this year if it's already booked that far out because that's something it is. Every year it's something that I put on my list of like, I am going to do that at some point. And then I never get a chance to do it. Now, Corey is right. If you are somebody out there that's like me that didn't book it and doesn't want to book it or can't book it here, it doesn't want to wait till September, take a bike and ride the High Trestle Trail. It's essentially the same thing. Now, you don't get that. There's that one span that the Boone Railway takes you on that takes you into that. But the High Trestle Trail, you get that very, very much that same feeling when you're crossing that river valley on that trail. So that's a really fun thing to do. And you can walk. You can drive up to Madrid. Stop. We even have an old charter house office. Our agent Kim Olsed has an office right there next to the High Trestle Trail. There's a parking lot, and you can hike. It's a walk on a trail. It's not a hike. You can walk on a trail for about 1.5 miles, and you're into that Des Moines River Valley. That's beautiful. Ledges. Do you want to do this now? You want to talk about some of these?
No, I will wait till about 7 o'clock hour.
All right, because I'm
coming up on a break here pretty soon, and then we'll get to the U.S. Open and Caitlin Clark and all that other stuff. Tomorrow, we do want to tell you that Nick Nurse is going to be joining us, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Nick Nurse is scheduled to join us at 7:30 tomorrow morning. It'd be good to catch up with Nick. We talked to him a year ago, but he's got his big golf tournament coming to Carroll on August 7th and 8th. So the fair is already going to be underway. And then he's raising money for the Nick Nurse Foundation. They'll be playing golf in Carroll, but he's bringing in some musical. The Jacksons are coming. Jefferson Starship is coming. And Mount Joy is going to be playing in Carroll. Are you a Mount Joy fan?
You say Mount. I don't. Should I be familiar with that?
They're an indie band. I would probably play a couple Mount Joy songs. You'd go, oh yeah,
okay.
Jesus Drives an Astro Van is a Mount Joy song.
Jesus Drives an Astro Van. Tyler says Mount Joy is great.
They are. They're really, really good. But yeah, so Nick's going to be joining us, and cool. And we want to thank Mindy Toyne for making this happen, because she reached out, and who knows, we might be in Carroll over the 7th and 8th and do some shows. Maybe not.
Yeah, we might sign up for that. That'd be fun. Get over there and meet some really fun people.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of stars hanging out in Carroll.
Yeah,
a lot of stars. Great music. Great, all sorts of good stuff.
I'll real quick tell you, I did something fun. I think I thought I told you on Friday that I was doing this. Maybe I didn't. Did I tell you that I was doing this thing for the Des Moines Metro Opera on Saturday?
Oh yeah, save that, because I want to talk to you about your outfit.
Okay.
Because Ross got an interesting outfit for the opera showcase that he did over the weekend. We'll take a break. 515-517-2303 if you want to chime in on the conversation. We're here till 8 o'clock today. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Brennan Santone here with Willis Cadillac. It is officially summer. Behind me I have a beautiful CT5 Blackwing with over 600 horsepower and drift metallic. It is available on our show floor. We also have EV Conquest on all of our EV models. We do have some lease loyalty just for owning a 2012 or newer Cadillac as well. And also we have gotten several new CT4s and 5s in. Come check out this summer what we got going on over at our Clive location, or check us out at williscadillac.com.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Summer's here, and that means extra miles on your car. With road trips, summer activities, and more, stop in now and get a vehicle inspection to make sure your Land Rover is in the best shape possible. We'll even throw in $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or head online at LandRoverDesMoines.com to schedule your appointment today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday, everybody. Dog days of summer are upon us. So you did a Des Moines Opera thing over the weekend, and everybody got to dress up in these really nice outfits. And you dressed up as the court jester.
Everybody got to dress up in really nice outfits, and then I got to be a court jester. It was fun. It was fun. It fit. It was typecast. I think Travis froze on me. He'll be back here in a second. So I got invited to help out with the Des Moines Metro Opera. They do this event every year. It's a luncheon that they had at Wakanda Club. And what they do is they bring a bunch of their costumes from the previous year's opera season, and then they invite some, my favorite term, local celebrities to go and showcase the outfits. And I got invited to go do this. I like doing fun things, silly things. It was interesting. Got to hang out with, I do really like some of the people in the community here. Janae Town, Kaylin Thompson. I got to meet for the first time Ben Kaplan, who's at KCCI. I'd never really met Ben before from KCCI. So got to hang out with him for just a little bit. And a gentleman by the name of Nate. I wish I could remember Nate's last name. He was a fascinating guy. He was the one I really didn't know at all. So it was fun. It was a neat thing. But when I had no idea what I was signing up for. The only thing that they told me was bring black shoes. The girls had a little bit more. The women had a little bit more of like a list of stuff they had to bring. They had to make sure like they had various colored undergarments and things like that. It was kind of funny because it was like women,
like lingerie,
not lingerie. Just make sure you have a black bra and a white bra, and make sure you have you know what I mean. And theirs was pretty long, and literally then it's like, men, bring black shoes. Like, it's so easy being a guy. It's so easy. I showed up in flip flops, a fishing shirt, and shorts. And walked in, and they're like, "Hey, Ross, you're going to be the court jester." And I go, "Sounds right. Sure, I am."
I mean, you look great. I was impressed.
It was fun. It took me took an hour out of my Saturday. Got to hang out at Wakanda Club. Got my bio read in front of. Again, there were probably 50, 75 people in this room. I'm just going to go ahead and guess that the people that are at the Des Moines Metro Opera luncheon are heavy hitters. So
probably a pretty good guess.
Yeah. So it was fun. It was a neat thing. I'm glad they invited me to do it. Hope they invite me to do it again. I would, again, an hour out of my Saturday. It was fun and something new. Met some new people.
Do you get embarrassed when they read your bio? Because I always do. I mean, even though we write, people are like, "Hey, write a bio." Then you write it, and then they read it, and you're like, "God, it's."
So here's the trick. I had somebody else write mine.
Okay.
And that helped a lot. Because I'm with you. I hate it when they're like, "Hey, tell us," and then you have to write the thing that says Ross Peterson is. And I hear my brother is in my head the whole time. Ross Peterson's a dork. He's a nerd. But they don't want to hear that. You can't, your bio can't start with Ross Peterson was on the debate team in 1994. You can still find his merit points. No, so it says something about being a realtor, long career in broadcasting, doing the Rush Radio. one of the founding realtors of Agency Iowa. Kids, fishing, golf.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Could Caitlin Clark have scripted her return to the WNBA? Not that she was out of the WNBA, but she missed 5 games because of a quad injury. And you're like, okay, she hasn't practiced that much. She hasn't played that much. She's going to be on national TV, going to play the New York Liberty, a team that is the defending WNBA champs, had not lost yet this year. She comes out, Ross, and proves the price of admission, because she went off for 32 points. She had 9 assists, 8 rebounds, hit 7 3-pointers, and it was a 3-point barrage in the first half. She was hitting them from 26, 27 feet out. I mean, it was the perfect, and I'm not going to call it scripted, but it seemed scripted, return for Caitlin Clark.
Travis, how often do we say this, man? She doesn't miss these opportunities. When there's a moment for her to raise the bar, when there's a bar to get over, she doesn't. She is it. I don't even know the words for it anymore, man. I don't know how you don't enjoy this. I don't know how anybody can be on the tear them down side of this yet, because this is fun. This is so special. I had the conversation again this weekend. Watching WNBA games that she's not in, that the Fever aren't even playing in, you see 22 jerseys. You can watch a highlight of a game that's not a Fever game. Caitlin Clark is not even in the arena, and people are wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys. And the only thing that I can compare it to in my lifetime is Tiger Woods. That's the only thing I've seen that changed something so drastically, so quickly. And her being gone, I think, did show that she's the needle here. And then she comes back and she hits these threes, and I don't know. And then this morning, I'm seeing the Gino Auriemma clip floating around again. You know what I mean? Like, it's this machine that the Gino Auriemma thing is a good example of it. There's this content out there, but then she does something and it restirs all of this stuff. I don't know what the words are for it, Travis. It's one of the most amazing things I've seen in our pop culture experience.
What do you think when people go back? Because I mean, I think Gino would say that he was wrong about. I mean, when somebody comes out of college and enters a new league, we all throw opinions out there. You're either going to be on the right side of opinion, you're going to be on the wrong side of opinion. Should your opinion be used against you over and over?
Okay, not when it's an opinion and a prediction. He went pretty far in his thing.
That's fair.
Because Gino Auriemma says you are all stupid. He calls us names. You're all stupid. You're so ignorant. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm Gino Auriemma. I'm UConn basketball. And Diana, UConn basketball, is right. This girl's going to have a learning lesson. It wasn't. I think she's going to have a learning curve. I think that Caitlin Clark's going to have to earn her stripes. That would not be used against you. He doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down. You're stupid. You're ignorant. I know more than you. Diana Taurasi and I can run laps around you when it comes to basketball knowledge, and you all don't know what you're talking about. And it turned out they were the wrong ones. So, yeah, I think that in that situation, it's okay to go, hey, coach, remember when you wagged your finger in our faces and told us how wrong we were all going to be? Dick.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's come out and Diana Taurasi.
I think they all have come out and said, "Oh, yeah, she's really good," and I get that. But when you do that, when you go that far, this is, and again, predictions and opinions. That's one thing. When you start going into this thing of like,
when you make it personal,
to people. That's when they'll go, "Okay, we're gonna screenshot this. Remember this one."
And you know, they put 102 points on the board against New York, And when she was gone, they had trouble scoring. So it wasn't like she was great in the second half. I think she had, 28 at halftime, ended up with 32 for the game. But when you throw in that 9 assists, 8 rebounds, I think she was part of 54 points of the 102 that they scored. It just shows you the type of electricity she brings to a game. And then you put it on national television against the New York Liberty, a team that was unbeaten, and you go, oh, when the lights are bright, she finds the brightest part and just does not disappoint.
It's over and over and over, man. So yeah, fun to see, fun weekend. Happy to see that back in the news feeds, and it was the conversation on Father's Day of, did you see that? Did you see the highlights? Did you see her hit 3 in a row from 35 feet?
Yeah, and pulling up and just hitting jump shots. I mean, Brianna Stewart's in her face, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go over you. And that's what the league needs. And again, it's a broken record, because we'll have this conversation again before the end of the summer. Is she the best player in the league? No. Is she the biggest star in the league? Hands down. Hands down. And she delivers when the league needs it the most. And I think the league needed it a lot with her being out for 5 games, and then just boom, delivers.
Oh, by the way, did you see Angel Reese, second youngest player to get a triple-double?
I did see that.
So she gets a lot of bad baggage. I thought that's an important message. That's a historic.
The one thing I did like about Caitlin being out for 5 games is that we didn't see any of that stupid. That was the nice part. It was just like, oh, okay. Because nobody was paying attention to the WNBA. Nobody was paying attention to
You said it. You said it, not me.
Yeah, because it's true. Nobody was paying attention. So you're like, okay, then you didn't have all the comparisons on a nightly basis. You're like, oh, it's just exhausting. Let these women go out and play basketball. Who cares? You don't have to compare them all the time. They're 2 different players. But now and it was like the day after Caitlin goes off, Angel Reese gets the triple-double, and it's like, second youngest. Good.
Yeah. And again, I just say it because we bag on her a lot, and I thought did you see the you want to move on? You want to stay on WNBA stuff?
No, I'm done with the WNBA.
All right, good. Thank you.
Good.
Did you see the I think I told you about this. Kevin Durant is calling out Stephen A. Smith. And listen, both of these guys, I'm not going to pick a favorite in this Kevin Durant versus Stephen A. Smith squabble. Okay. But this one's kind of funny and certainly a point for Kevin Durant. So somebody, and it's not even Kevin Durant, because it was just somebody on social media sitting behind Stephen A. Smith the other night at the NBA Finals in Indiana, snaps a photo of Stephen A. Smith, okay, from behind, and it captures his phone, and he's playing solitaire. He's not like checking Twitter. He's not typing a text. He's playing solitaire, a game that takes some time. Right? You don't play solitaire in a timeout, which is what he claimed, by the way. So the post goes out, and Kevin Durant posts it to his Instagram story, and basically kind of calls him out. Says, this man's supposed to be at the NBA Finals. Come on, Steve. That's all it said was, come on, Steve. Stephen A. Smith replied back and said, listen, number one, I can multitask. And number two, it was during a timeout.
See, I'm guilty of this. My wife gets mad at me all the time. That we'll be in a good conversation. We'll be sitting there watching a movie, and she goes, are you playing Best Fiends? I'm like, and I've used the line, I can multitask. I can play a game, I can watch a movie, and I can have a conversation with you at the very same time. Yeah. Now, it might be a little ADHD or something like that, but I'm going to give Stephen A. Smith a pass here. And hear me out. You go to game after game after game after game. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. you get bored at times, and you kind of know when to watch and when not to watch. Am I being too gracious to Stephen A. Smith here?
No, you're being exactly right. You like this is exactly. You're being exactly right. A lot of people wouldn't like to hear this. It's become a job.
Yes.
I'm not. Again, I wanted to be clear up front. I was not picking a side on it. I just found it to be funny. And I would also say this though, Stephen A. Smith, man, if you're in an arena, Travis, you're aware of this stuff. When you're sitting courtside at Drake, you don't sit there on your phone where people can see and scroll around, right?
No,
I mean, that's something that I'm at least aware of like, I'm not going to be sitting here on my phone when I'm supposed to be watching the game or especially working. So that, again, I shouldn't even, I don't want to pick sides on this. I just think it's funny. Both these dudes are comedy. Stephen A. Smith, though, his like, he has this trick that he can do, man. And it's almost a preacher's type of thing. It's almost a pastor, preacher, priest, religious type of thing that he does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying here, right? He gets into this cadence where everything means more. If you pause for just the right amount of time, it adds drama. And that man has nailed that presentation thing of saying nothing, but doing it with conviction.
Sorry, I'm doing. Sorry.
You're fine. You're fine.
That was weird.
You all right?
So, yeah, I just got connected back with the phone. It got disconnected during the whole thing. So I did something I've never done before. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that worked.
So,
but you're right with the cadence.
We're right. You're okay with this, that we're on the opposite sides of things?
We're fine.
Okay. All right. Doesn't bother me, but
Ross. It's just,
I just want to make sure because it's a little bit of OCD for me.
Okay.
There's a little bit of it, but I didn't know if it bothered you, but it don't bother me a bit. Just a little bit.
But you're right with the cadence. I mean, it is very preacher-like.
Yeah. There's a religious part of it. I mean, again, he's a presenter. He's an amazing presenter. And that's,
yeah. When I play, when I use my phone to play Best Fiends though, and then people are like, "You're playing Best Fiends?" Yeah, yes, I am.
I wasn't going to judge,
but I put the phone down and flat so people can't see it.
Oh, it's respectable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, then, another funny broadcast thing that happened.
I watched this and I was going to try to share, but it took me like 2 times to see what was going on because it wasn't like recognizable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because
is this something we can play for people?
Let me see if I can.
All right, I'll explain it, and you see if you can find it. This actually happened last Thursday, and I saw this video. I even think on Friday, and I'm with Travis. I didn't catch it. I didn't see what the funny was about it, and I even kind of wondered, like, what is the Cubs broadcast team doing? So anyway, here's the story. Cubs Pirates are playing on Thursday night, and the Marquee Sports Network broadcast team, Boog and I think it was actually just Boog, goes to crown the fan of the game. Okay, we're all familiar with this process, and we're going to pick a fan of the game. Well, this time, the fan of the game brought to you by Mike's Hard Lemonade, for the love of lemonade, and it's you, Justin Turner. You are the fan of the game. Woo! Sciambi declared as Turner jumped up and down, and the camera pans, as you'll see here, towards Justin Turner, who's down in the hallway, and Justin Turner jumps up and down in excitement. But wait, what's that bouncing between his legs? Wait, what was that bouncing between his legs there? So the camera turns. So those that aren't listening, that are just watching or just listening, as he jumps up and down and the camera shows him in the tunnel, he's got a pair of rubber testicles hanging from his jersey. So he's got rubber nuts bouncing up and down. Congratulations, Justin Turner. You're the fan of the game.
Oh.
Fake ball sack just bouncing up and down.
That's classic, isn't it? But you know what I like about that? I think that says a lot about team chemistry, about your I'm going to go real deep here. But the fact that you have fun like that, because you know what? It's a long season. It is a long season. And
Travis, there's something to that. Do you remember the Red Sox in 2004? Was it the 2004 Red Sox that broke this? They're the ones that broke the curse. But it was either that Red Sox team or the one that won the World Series a couple of years later that kind of took on that mantra of being the dirty dogs. They owned it. They were, because it was like Johnny Damon, Kevin Millar. You know what I mean? It's a bunch of dudes that they all had long hair, and you remember the A's and the Mustache Gang.
Oh yeah, the mustaches.
You go back a generation before that, the Gas House Gang from the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, there is something to what you're talking about here of having fun, being silly. I think the Dodgers take it to a weird place. Have you seen what the Dodgers celebrations are like?
No.
Dude. It's like, listen, to each his own. It's June. It's Pride Month. It's your thing. It's not for everybody. Doesn't have to be for everybody, right? And like it's just odd, dude. It's odd stuff. They like pretend like they're circle jerking and stuff. It's weird. It's weird. I shouldn't even have brought it up without finding some of it, because again, this is total rabbit hole stuff.
What?
But the Dodgers celebrations are odd. Odd.
Where do you get a pair of rubber nuts like that? Does Justin Turner go on to Amazon and go, I need a pair of rubber nuts that I can cling to my
It's a Major
shirt?
League Baseball clubhouse. I bet you'd be surprised at some of the stuff that is found in there. I don't know. And they've got those truck nuts. So they're you know what I mean?
Do you think he knew he was going to be the fan of the game and he did that on purpose? Because they like come down and go fan of the game, and he's like celebrating, and it's like he went purposely into the clubhouse, got a pair of rubber nuts, and like, I'm going to get them. I'm going to get them right here. I'm going to jump up and down. And the thing is, you have to pay attention. It's the first time I watch it, I'm like, what's going on here?
I didn't either. I'm telling you, I saw it like on Friday. I saw this thing of like, hey, Justin Turner was fan of the game. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. And I watched the clip. I saw him jump up and down. I was like, I wonder why they did that. And I don't watch enough Cubs games to know, is it common for them to pick a player as a fan of the game? And then today, this thing shows up. It's like, hey, by the way, did you notice what was going on when Justin Turner jumped up and down? Here's the funniest part about it. Because Jim Deshaies and Boog come back. That's the final out of the inning happens there. The entire next play, they don't say a word. It's dead silence from the Cubs broadcast for the entire next at bat. Now, were they in there cracking up?
Yes.
Or were they in there getting were they in there like, oh, was somebody in the ear yelling and screaming and going? Because
it's not even that bad.
It's not that bad. It's funny. It's funny. And again, you didn't see it. If you were watching the game, I don't know how anybody actually saw it.
Yeah, to me, them not talking, they were like, if we acknowledge it, we get in trouble.
And they're just trying to talk without cracking up.
Yes.
And we've all been there where you've got the church laughs now. You're trying not to laugh, but your whole body's convulsing.
Now I'm going to throw a conspiracy theory out there. Did Justin Turner at one point go, hey, guys, could you make me the fan of the day?
Dude, maybe. I mean, you're definitely... Again, I don't watch enough Cubs broadcasts to have an opinion on it. 517-2303. If you watch a lot of Cubs baseball, is it common for them to pick a player like that?
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't either. And if it's once in a while, if it's like, then I think you're right. All right, rabbit hole. We're doing this, and I'm down with following the chat. Did you see the Conor McCaffery tweet this weekend?
I did. I don't know if I follow Conor McCaffery or not. I don't. Full disclosure, I don't live on Twitter a lot.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either. But I will tell you that he made some way. This thing got its way into my circles. He made some waves, dude. I want to find it so I can give it. I can say it the right way here, and of course, I just messed up my phone. Because essentially the tweet was something to the effect of, I love it when people say to me, "Go Hawks!" Like, come on, bro, and like a laughy smiley face. It's way more go. I'll get to it here. Hope he didn't take it down. He may have taken it down. It might have got taken down.
I mean, I get why he's mad that his dad got fired in the way it went down. Yeah, absolutely, but you can't dispute that Iowa fans were pretty good to him, and he had a good career at Iowa. And it's not personal; it's business. And when your girlfriend is maybe the most famous Hawkeye of all time now, if not for sure top 3.
That's another fun conversation. So yeah, apparently it did get deleted, but it was like, yeah, don't come at me with your Go Hawks anymore. I'm more Go Fever. And it was like the 3, I don't even know what's Penn's mascot.
I have no idea what the Penn mascot
whatever
is.
It was.
Are
it
they
was
the
like
Tigers,
whatever, dogs.
Once a Hawkeye, always a Hawkeye. At least that's what people want to view you as.
Your dad gets fired from a place. I totally get it. But your family got generational wealth from this place. You met your future wife, who's going to be a multimillionaire at this place.
And an ambassador for that place for the rest of her life.
And I think when you put your people, thanks, Dan Finner. Dan got it for us. I don't know why people still yell, "Go Hawks," when they see me. Like, no. Go Dogs, go Quakers, go Fever. So it's not like a shot at Iowa, but it is like, hey, I'm done with that. You guys fired my dad.
Yeah, then Caitlin says, take it down.
Oh, yeah, you guarantee you somebody reached out. Maybe even Dad. Maybe even Fran reached out and said, hey, buddy, I appreciate it. Just retake that down. And by the way, on the family group text, hey, everybody, just a reminder, Twitter is a cesspool. Social media is not your friend. And every post that you make will be used against you in the court of public opinion.
For the rest of your life. Charlie said, Caitlin's publicity team probably told him to take it down.
Might be.
Yeah.
Might be. And nice to know our buddy Dan Finney is listening. Dan, good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks for listening, man. And watching.
515-517-2303. We got an hour in the books. We got an hour to go. We'll talk about Iowa attractions in hour number 2. We touched on it a little bit in right around 6:30, but things to do in Iowa. You don't have to, go on a big vacation. There's plenty of stuff to do here. And the number 1 attraction is in Boone. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We have some great stuff going on this month. Right now you can get $4,000 off a brand new QX80, 2.9% out to 60 months. On top of that, QX60s are doing 1.9 clear out to 60 months, 2.9 at 72, and even an incentivized rate at 4.9 at 84 months. For more information, come see us in our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Monday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com, thank you so much. Also, if you're listening on the Android app, good to have you along. YouTubers out there, give this channel a subscription. Like the video, start leaving your comments in the comments section. And do us a favor, as part of this community, tell a friend about us. Say, hey, you know what? You need to listen to these guys every morning. Always look for the network to spread. We're like a network marketing group. Just tell 3 friends, they can tell 3 more friends, and so on. Follow us on X at Rush Mornings, like our Facebook page, The Rush with Travis and Ross, and of course follow us on Instagram, The Rush Radio Show. 515-517-2303. Somebody call that number. I got disconnected, and I think I've reconnected, but I want to know if it's actually working. It's like one of those things where I think it's working, but I don't know if it is or not. So, and this might be something to call about because, you know, I just got back from a week in Fort Robinson, Nebraska. It's in Crawford. It's an 8-hour drive, but it's in the state that I live in. So I felt like I did a staycation sort of. But the Des Moines Register has an article this morning, and Yelp voted the Boone Railway attraction the number one attraction in the state of Iowa. The number one thing to do, according to Yelp. We got like a 4.7 out of a 5-point scale. I don't know who wouldn't give it a 5. Just based on the photos I see, that thing looks totally awesome. I have not done it yet. Ross, you haven't done it yet. We both want to do it. But I can see where that would be the number one attraction because it's like a 2-hour long thing. You get on the rail, you're on this car, you pedal, you can kind of go at your own pace. You get great views, and it's unique, right? It's totally, totally unique. And that's what we like as human beings. We like unique experiences. So that to me, and I have no problem with that being the number one attraction in the state of Iowa, just because it's something a lot of people probably haven't done. If you have done it, I'd love to hear about it and tell us why we should do it and what's the best part of it. But there's so much out there. Then I got to be thinking, okay, and you did this last week. You posted a picture of summer memory number 1.
Oh, yeah, at Ledges. Yeah. Great. That's a great place to start, Trav. Yeah. Ledges is right up. So Ledges is really cool. Right up out by kind of by Boone. So near where you go to do the Scenic Valley Railway thing. In fact, you could do all 3 of these things. Obviously, you can't do the railway thing right now because you can't do it till September. But any day, you can get in the car and drive to Ledges State Park and get out and walk through the creek, and you will not believe you're in Iowa. It's so cool when you're driving there to think of the guy that would have found this or the people that came across this at some point, because you're just in farmland Iowa, like we all know. You're driving through corn, and then all of a sudden you turn and you are in this valley that looks like you're in Colorado. It's beautiful. It's so cool. The water is crystal clear and cold, and it's just a fun place. The cars are driving through. You can get splashed by the water. And then the other thing you can do with Ledges, you can bike on the High Trestle Trail. But the other thing that's really cool up there is it's a treehouse village. They call it like the Iowa Arboretum. I think that's it. Is it
part of Ledges?
It's near there. You can do all of this, and I didn't do it the other day. I should have done it with the girls. We went and got lunch instead. But there's so much stuff in that little pocket that you can do. And I would say the same thing about Northeast Iowa. When you go to, because Makokata Caves that's the coolest place in Iowa. Have you ever been to the Makokata Caves?
I've never been to the Makokata Caves.
The coolest place in Iowa. Same thing as the Ledges, but on steroids, times 1,000. It is, you walk into that Grand Cathedral Cave and turn around and you're just, this is really, really, really cool. And then that whole area up there, because then you can get up to the Pikes Peak that's in Northeast Iowa, where you look over the Mississippi River Valley and it feels like you can see 1,000 miles to the west. Decor is beautiful. Yeah, these are just a few of my favorites there.
How about this is going to be up there, and I don't know how big of an attraction it is anymore. Is the Field of Dreams still a big attraction?
Yes,
or has
and
it
no.
Lost some of its luster?
Definitely lost some luster, Travis. Yeah, it's still a thing, but it's funny that like when you say uniquely Iowa, for some reason that one feels different to me than Ledges and Makokata Caves, where when you're in those places, you don't feel like you're in Iowa. It's not cornfields. It's not flat land, hot sun. You know what I mean? You're in a different world for a moment. And with the Field of Dreams, I feel like that's the opposite thing. You're like immersing yourself in the Iowa.
And you're immersing yourself now in commercialism, right? Are they still building like the massive baseball complex over there, what Frank Thomas is involved with?
Dude, that's a good point. I don't know the answer to your question, but the commercialization of that definitely is a part of what I'm feeling there. Why, when you say those things, I have them in two totally different camps. The Field of Dreams, I look at that as something you do once, and you go there and you say you were there, but they're gonna charge you for every part of it. Then no, that's not fun. I guess I've been around long enough to know the whole fight about the grounds and the left field and all this nonsense where it's like, okay, well, I do want to stop there at some point, probably do that here in a couple months or next month when I take the kids up to Wisconsin. We'll stop because they've been asking to stop at the Field of Dreams. So is it still important to kids? Yes. Has it lost a lot of luster? I think so.
Yeah, I think it was just the movie set. It becomes, okay, that's cool because you go out there and play. Then they built the field for the Major League game, which was really cool. I thought the two Major League games they played there were spectacular. But now it's like, okay. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon in Vacation. Have you ever been to the Grand Canyon before?
Never have. But you've told me. You told me it's just like Vacation. You get there and you go.
I mean, it's amazing, but it's like, okay, I'm not going to go on a hike. I'm not going to take a donkey ride down in this thing. How long do I stay and look at this beautiful scenery?
My cousin's husband and their son just did the rim-to-rim hike.
That's not an easy hike.
Oh, but the pictures, oh my God. So Dan says, Dan's, what other reasons are there for going to Dyersville? I mean, it was always a thing in my life where it was a stop on the way to Wisconsin. You took, it was like a decision on the way out the door. Hey, do we want to throw the gloves in the car and go out of the way to Dyersville and play catch for a little bit? And most of the time after we did it a couple times, the answer was, nah.
The nice thing about rural Iowa, and we're talking, I mean, you can do Dyersville, you can put some of these, you can do multiple things in a day. You don't have to spend all day at the Field of Dreams. Like the Boone Rail adventure. That's probably a 2-hour thing. That's perfect, right? You get on a cart, you pay your money, you do your 2 hours, and then you move on to something new. You could probably do the Boone Railway and the ledges in the same day.
Absolutely. You could do the Boone ledges. You could do the railway ledges, the High Trestle Trail. You could do that Treehouse Village at the Arboretum. That'd be it. Now that's a full day of being outside. The Treehouse Village is a pretty cool thing. That's one that a lot of people don't know about.
Would that be one you need kids for that though? Like if Anjanette
it's for kids.
Went,
it's for kids, and it is. I believe like almost all of it is handicap accessible. They have ground level tree houses. Basically, is how it's presented. It's an interesting little place.
You're becoming challenged, Ross. This might be something you want to do. You need to find a good route for an Iowa Camino and capitalize on it. You need to come up with the Iowa Camino.
Dude, guys, here's the funny thing, Austin. My brain thinks about this all the time. My brother lives down in Carlisle, and they just completed, he kind of lives in a rural part of Carlisle. They just completed this concrete trail that connects to the south side of Des Moines and goes into, and it's beautiful. It really takes you through a really cool part of outside of Des Moines. I think about that stuff all the time. Here's the deal with that. And Travis knows this. The Camino is a thing that for thousands of years has organically grown into an industry.
And it has a spiritual meaning behind it.
Yes. To just say, hey, everybody, you should come do this walk. There are places groups that do that. Exactly what you're talking about.
And also, what makes the Camino pretty interesting is, you're going, 10, 15 miles a day. You're ending up in a city that has, places, hotels, all sorts of places to stay. I mean, if you were to do a Camino across Iowa, you'd be camping in a tent most nights.
Yeah. And if you started, what if you walked to Carlisle? Then what? Go to Casey's? Go to Casey's, turn around?
Yeah, you're not getting the gourmet meals that you got in Portugal and Spain.
Or do you just continue on to Hartford? And then when you get to Hartford, then what you doing? Anyway.
When I was driving back, so it's like 400 miles from Crawford, Nebraska to Omaha, right? We went to Shadron on Wednesday to get some groceries. We were coming home on Saturday morning, and the biker we passed on the way to Shadron was not even to Norfolk yet. I mean, because we're talking on a bike, you could realistically do what? You could do as many as you wanted, but most bikers can do 70 to 80, maybe 100 miles a day. We passed that biker that we passed on Wednesday. And I'm like, oh, that has to be a long ride. If you were to do a Camino in Iowa, you'd probably have to end up in West Branch at the Grotto. Right. You ever been to the Grotto?
Grotto's on the places of things to go see in Iowa. I think that I've never been up there, but the pictures of that are pretty cool.
I mean, it's interesting if you like rocks and it's got a religious aspect to it.
One time, Michelson pissed off so many people. Came on the air on a Monday one time. He's like, man, my wife and I, Susie and I, had a wonderful weekend. We took a trip up to, isn't it Northwest Iowa that the grotto's at?
Yeah. Northwest, North Central.
My wife and I took a trip up to the grotto up there. Yeah, the shrine of the Grotto of the Redemption. It's in West Bend, Iowa. He goes, man, it is really cool. It's this giant house built out of rocks. And Susie and I, we each took a rock and took it home, so we had something to remember the place by, which obviously you don't do. Because if everybody did that, it wouldn't be a thing, right?
It would crumble, yes.
Oh, my God. That's all I said. That's it. Ah, man, we had a wonderful time. Brought home a couple rocks as souvenirs for the place so we could remember our trip up to the grotto. Anyway, let's talk about the weekend. The phone lines lit up. You can't do that. Hey, Ross, you got to tell Jan. He shouldn't admit that on the radio.
And the grotto is going to be one of those attractions that is somewhat polarizing, meaning some people are going to love it because you're going to go, God, how did they do this? And I remember I've been there twice. I was there when I was a really young kid, and then I took my kids there probably about 10 years ago. And I was pretty underwhelmed by it. It wasn't what I remembered. And you're like, oh, man. I wish I just would have kept my earlier memory in my brain, because now I'm like, doesn't do much for me.
I feel like we screwed up here because we really started with the best stuff. Makokata Caves is, to me, the top of the list. And the Boone, the stuff at Ledges and Boone around there, that's a pretty close second. And then this is where you quickly find out that Iowa doesn't have a lot of these like attractions, if you will. I mean, you can go to the Villisca Axe Murder House. You can see the American Gothic House. Go down and do the Madison County thing. Do the bridges in Madison County, and then there is a really cool thing in Winterset. They've got a park there with a thing called Clark's Tower. It's cool. For people that are familiar from Winterset, they're like, oh my God, that's so... But if you've never seen it, it is pretty cool.
You can do John Wayne's house in Winterset.
Sure. Yeah. You can go to the Buddy Holly crash site.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, I've been to the surf ballroom. I thought the surf ballroom was really cool. What I like about the surf ballroom is you walk into the dressing room and all the people who have played there have signed the wall. You're like, oh my God, look at all these names. But you have to be an adult maybe to appreciate it, right? Because you bring anybody younger than 12 in there and they're like, we're not allowed to write on walls in the school. Why'd they write on the wall? But
we had artists sign the back wall at the radio station for a long time, and that was fun to go look at. Because like we had Ed Sheeran played down there. I mean, you had huge names. Saw Brandi Carlile down there. Then they'd sign the wall. So again, you fall off quite a bit here. Once you get past those big things, it drops off a bit. We have some really cool stuff in Des Moines. Like I made a dream wish list a couple of summers ago for all the fun things for us to try to do in the summer. And we got a lot of them done. In fact, I should go find that. That'd be something I could have pulled out for today's show. There's a lot of stuff in Des Moines. The World Food Prize building is super cool. We got some neat stuff here.
Adventureland. That's an attraction.
Yeah, I mean, there's the zoo and Adventureland and the Science Center and the Art Center. The Art Center is my favorite because it's free. The Science Center, I think, is expensive, in my opinion, and they don't change the stuff enough. It's some of the stuff at the Science Center is the original stuff from when they built the place 20 years ago. It's the exact same stuff. The Art Center changes it. They move their stuff around a lot. Again, free to get in, air conditioned.
And I would say this because I grew up in Western Iowa, right? There's not a lot. I would say most of the main attractions are Central and East. You get West, and there's not very much to do. There's just not.
Go up to the Great Lakes. Go up to Okoboji.
This is going to be blasphemous to a lot of people. I don't get the Okoboji attraction. I really don't. It's overpriced. But I'm not a water person either. But I've been to Okoboji once, and I think it cost me more to go to Okoboji for like 3 days than it did to go to Florence, Italy for 2 weeks. It's just that expensive up there. But isn't that crazy how fast it drops off? Because you're right. I mean,
there's some cool things to do. But like if you pull up Travel Iowa, they have this thing, 24 uniquely Iowa things to do. You get down to stuff where it's like, go on the roller coaster road. Oh, that sounds fun. What's the roller coaster road? It's a hilly dirt road in Northeast Iowa. It's a hilly dirt road. Like, here's the 24th best attraction in Iowa. Drive.
Is it a lot of up and down, or are there switchbacks there?
No, it's just up and down. It's a road that it's a road that rolls through the rolling hills of Iowa. The roller coaster road. Uniquely Iowa. The I-80 Trucking Museum. I'm out.
So am I. And I grew up the son of a truck driver.
Villisca Axe Murder House. I'm good. This one's great. In Riverside, Iowa, they have the future birthplace of James T. Kirk. I'm good.
I get off at the Riverside exit all the time when I go to Muscatine. So I go to Iowa City down to Riverside. The only thing I know about Riverside, there's a casino there. Casino and golf course. And my wife always says, oh, yeah, future birthplace of James T. Kirk. But you know how many Trekkies have probably gone to Riverside, Iowa? I bet a lot.
Oh, thousands. It's hundreds of thousands, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's high, but a lot. A lot. I've never been to Dunning Springs. It's a 200-foot waterfall in Decorah. Never made it to Dunning Springs. You've been to the historic Squirrel Cage Jail.
Yes, that's in Council Bluffs.
Yep.
All jails should continue to be built like that. They're not really humane, but it's it's a good way to lock people up.
Trav, here's one that I'm interested in. I'd never go, but I wonder if you've been. Have you ever been to the All Iowa Lawn Tennis Club?
I had no idea that it existed.
Really? Really? So this is it's the only grass tennis court in Iowa and one of the few in the entire country. It's in Charles City. It's billed as tennis's Field of Dreams. You can make reservations and play on it's a beautiful looking grass court. So I thought maybe because you're much more of a tennis guy than I am. So I thought maybe that was something that would have rang a bell.
I knew it existed, but it's like on some guy's yard, right? Didn't it, some guy just put it like in his farm? Said,
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. I'm just going to build a grass tennis court.
I want to share this one because it fits into my narrative. William Shatner visited Riverside more times than John Wayne visited Winterset after he left. Thanks, Dan. Do you remember when Shatner did the show? It was called Invasion Iowa.
I don't.
Yeah. Bill Blank was on it.
Really?
Yeah, it was on FX. It was supposed to be like a hidden camera show. The premise of it was that William Shatner was coming to Riverside, Iowa to make a movie, and he was going to use locals to shoot this movie in Riverside, Iowa. But he was actually just punking the town. He was actually just he was never making a movie. He was making a documentary about Hicks in Iowa. So
that's kind of mean, though, isn't it?
It was, and then he of course overplayed being the Hollywood stereotype type of thing, and yeah, it was an interesting show. Bill actually was one of the people that figured out what was going on. And so they got kicked, removed them from the production because they were figuring out that the cameras weren't pointed at the actors. They were pointed anyway.
So if you could pick one thing, what would you do in the state?
Maquoketa Caves. It's a long drive from Des Moines, and it's a really long drive if you're in western Iowa, so you'd probably want to get a hotel room, but it is worth it. It's the coolest outdoor thing, and you can spend a day there doing it, and even if you get tired of just hiking the caves and doing that trail, then you can get in the car and go see some of that other amazing stuff over in eastern Iowa. And Mike says Pikes Peak. You can do both Maquoketa Caves and Pikes Peak in one trip. If you're from western Iowa, that would be an amazing weekend to drive over and do Maquoketa Caves and Pikes Peak. Both are outdoorsy hiking trails, so I mean that's got to be your thing. If that's not your thing, then you're listening to this going, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I would like to do two things, and there are two things I've never done.
Okay,
I want to do the Boone.
That looks very cool.
I want to do that. And this is going to be dorky of me. And maybe this is my age starting to show a little bit. I want to do the Pella Tulip Festival. I've never done the Pella Tulip Festival when the festival happens.
Okay.
You just let that one slide.
Listen, I think you said it right, Travis. Probably a reflection of where you're at in your life. The Amana colonies. I've never been to the Pella Tulip Festival, and I'll be honest, it's never been something I've been like, oh, I don't care. This is blasphemy. I don't like Dutch letters.
Oh, my God.
No.
You don't like almond paste? Almond paste is the best.
Can they call it something besides paste, please?
Somebody did bring up that I took Greta to Lamar's a couple years ago to the Blue Bunny Museum.
Oh, yeah.
And I ate at a restaurant up there, and it's just a hot dog stand. It's all it is, literally a hot dog stand. And it's a famous hot dog stand. I don't even remember the name of it. But yeah, that was cool just to go to the Blue Bunny Museum. What I learned more about there was like the first indoor hockey rink in America was like built in Lamar's.
No kidding.
They're like they were close to the Minnesota border, and they built like an indoor hockey rink. I found that more. You're like, I think that's the cool thing about going to small towns is that you're like, oh, yeah, you're known for this, but this also happened here. And you're like, because Lamar's is the ice cream capital of the world. But
dude, so wait, we got to dive into this. This is something we could look into. There's a rabbit hole here. Because Lamar, I didn't know about the indoor hockey rink. I did know about the ice cream factory. Did you also know that Lamar's is home to one of the nation's largest cold storage factories? What is it about indoor colds? There's something there. I promise you that. There's something there. Somebody in that town came up with something. There's some, because that's three different avenues of the same hub. Keeping things really cold inside.
It's a governmental conspiracy?
No. Not saying it's a conspiracy. What I'm saying is there's a reason that the Wells Blue Bunny ice cream factory was there, that cold ram storage that makes ice, and they were the first ones to do an indoor ice arena. So there's our brain. I'll figure that out. That's for me.
515-517-2303. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
You got me falling hard, sweet baby. You got me falling hard for you. And still, I felt this way before. You know it's true. And still, you got me more and more. Oh, you got me falling hard.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hi, I'm John Linares, sales manager here at Willis Lexus, and it is summertime, and it's time to roll down the windows and enjoy that nice weather. For the first time in a long time, we have TX available in stock, and we are taking $1,500 off in stock models. And speaking of cash off, we've got $2,000 of lease cash on all ES models, and if you're looking to finance, we have rates as low as 3.79 on popular models like RX, NX, IS, and ES. I invite you to stop in and take a new one for a drive, or visit us online at willislexus.com.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. I'm Travis Justice. He's Ross Peterson. Going down rabbit holes of the state of Iowa, what to do, main attractions, and we've discovered there's not a lot to do.
There is. There's a lot to do. It just, I think that when you start to list the stuff, there are things that are underwhelming to people. Again, like I said, Clark's Tower. I guarantee you somebody from Winterset cracked up. They were like, are you serious? They think Clark's Tower is one of the coolest things to do in Iowa. It's like a story and a half tower. But if you've never been there, you drive through this cool little park. There's a little ford. You drive over the creek. It makes you feel like you're going adventuring, Then you drive up to this park. You take a little hike, and you find this castle in the middle of the thing. What is it? It's just a little round tower. You walk up to the top. You get up there, and you go, oh, I bet the high school kids come and make out here.
Yeah, most of the attractions are really cool. It just takes about 5 or 10 minutes to complete, unless you're going to spend all day at the caves or couple hours on the railroad, or go on a nice walk to the High Trestle Bridge. So, yeah, Lamar's claims to be the birthplace of American hockey. That's what it is, Ross.
When did that happen?
Boy, I think that was back in the 1800s.
No.
Yes, I tried to open the register story, but of course I don't have a paid subscription for a story that was written in 2018. But I need to go back to Lamar's and kind of get
1930s.
1930s?
Let's see. Hubbard Ice Complex?
I don't
found an article from 2018 from Save CR Heritage, but that would be Cedar Rapids. So that wouldn't be it. That'd be in Cedar Rapids. No, never mind.
The birthplace of American hockey, Lamar's, Iowa. Also the ice cream capital of the world. And apparently the cold storage capital of the world.
Dude, something's going on up there. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. I sent a text to somebody that would know. Through my days at WHO, I got to know the family that owns one of the cold storage facilities up there.
So they're doing okay for themselves.
Oh boy. So I fired off a text just to see if I can get any answers.
The state of Missouri is trying to keep the Chiefs and the Royals in the state of Missouri. And over the weekend, the governor of Missouri signed a piece of legislation, Ross, that would give financial assistance and financial incentives for both the Royals and the Chiefs to stay in Missouri. Kansas City Royals have been very open. They want a new stadium. They do not want to be part of the Truman Sports Complex, which is sad. And I'm a traditionalist. I still drive by the Truman Sports Complex and go, this is the greatest thing in sports because it's just you got two stadiums right there. You got plenty of parking. I get that traffic in and out of Truman anymore is not ideal, but and both stadiums still look pretty good. It's not like they're dated stadiums, right?
Oh, no, I think that they're both great.
Yes.
Perfect for what Kansas City is. I mean, they're especially what they've done to Kauffman, man. They've changed that stadium completely from what it was when we were kids,
Yes.
when it was
You
a
did that for the All-Star
glorified
game that you went to.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be a glorified minor league park. Couldn't get all the way around the outfield. That I love Kauffman. But man, everybody needs newer, bigger, better all the time. And it's just a negotiating tactic. It's just, do they need it? No. Like you said, do the stadiums need to be replaced? Absolutely not.
Now, the Chiefs have said they want to do an update to Gia Field, which would cost, well, the estimate's gone up. 2 years ago it was $800 million. Now it's like $1.2 billion to renovate the stadium. The Royals want a $2 billion stadium, which once you start building it is going to cost more than $2 billion. They want to be downtown, but they have purchased land over on the Kansas side as a negotiating tactic. They're like, oh, we'll go buy some land because we're going to be able to sell that land if we don't use it. But it's just like, we want to be downtown. The voters said no to a sales tax extension. So the state has stepped in and said, well, we'll give you some financial incentives to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars. But why is it that teams always want something bigger and better and brighter and shinier? I mean, stadium was an example of that, right? I mean, you built a new Yankee Stadium. I don't think there's talks of a new Chavez Ravine for the Dodgers, but it wouldn't surprise me if that comes along at some point.
I mean, even the Cubs have tried to use, the Ricketts have tried to use a new stadium as a bargaining chip to get out of Wrigley or to get money for renovations for Wrigley. Oh, Travis. So, okay, what was your question again? Your question is exactly what?
I don't know if there's a question there or not, or just an observation of,
Dude, it's keeping up with the Joneses is I think whatever that generic question is of why. You got Fenway Park, you've got Wrigley Field, you've got some historic ballparks that have shown you can't, and Fenway might be a bad example because if you've ever been to Fenway, it was built for human beings in the 20s. I mean, it's different.
When I went to Fenway, I watched the Royals play at Fenway about 3 or 4, maybe 5 years ago. And don't get me wrong, it was cool being at Fenway Park.
Yes.
Then you start looking at sightline, you start looking at things, you're like, okay, what makes this stadium cool is the history, the tradition, everything around it. As far as the stadium goes, it's an okay stadium.
And anybody that wants to be realistic about Wrigley Field will say the same thing. Wrigley Field's an amazing place. It's electric. You feel it. It's something very special. It's magnetic, man. It's also crumbling. It's also rat infested, and there's 1,000 problems. And if you're, it's blasphemous. And people hear this and they go, "No, don't talk about Wrigley Field. It's sacred." Okay, to bury your head in the sand, that's fine. So there's a keeping up with the Joneses thing that happens. It's a negotiation. It's a ploy that the teams use to extract more money from the community so that they don't have to spend their money doing that stuff. And you can't go to the city and say, "Hey, we need money." So you go to the city instead and you blackmail them. You go to the city and you go, "Hey, guess what? Somebody else wants to give us a lot of money.
And they're just 15 miles away in a different state.
They're going to give us a lot of money. So how much do you guys want to give us to make us stay?"
I mean, I don't know if the Royals, to me, the Royals, you either stay where you're at or you go downtown like they originally, because going on the Kansas side of the river and suburbia again isn't going to help you that much. You're not in that downtown area that sparks investment, should we say.
Dude, they're the Royals. I mean, how quickly you forget They're the Royals. They move outside. I'm with you. I think that would be a bad move, but I don't think it'll happen. I think that they're doing the same thing that a lot of these teams do. They're using this as a ploy to just blackmail the city, quite frankly. Get more. So we'll see.
Ross says, I went to Omaha, must have gone for the College World Series. Nice stadium, but it's another stadium. Fenway and Wrigley bring nostalgia, which to me is worth more than the cool sightlines. And that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Is that when you are at Fenway, when you're at Wrigley, you do get wrapped up in the nostalgia. I will not deny that. It's cool. I've been to both stadiums, and I'm like, okay, I'm one of the most storied, hallowed places in baseball. I can totally acknowledge that. Rosenblatt State, if you talk to people in Omaha that are traditionalists of the College World Series every year, I miss Rosenblatt.
Yeah.
Do you really? I mean, at the end of the day, do you really? Or do you miss the nostalgia that was that old time field? That's what you miss. You don't miss the stadium in general. I mean, you had wood bleachers and kind of like what Wrigley does, poles in the main grandstand where you'd have to sit behind, and it wasn't that big. Sure, you have a new stadium, and it doesn't have the same character, but you miss the way it made you feel. And that just shows you that it's an emotion. We were talking about unique experiences. We like stuff the way it makes us feel. It doesn't matter the two teams playing or the game playing. It is, how do you feel when you're there?
I don't know how, if you've ever been to Wrigley Field, which is probably the most common. I felt the same thing at Fenway Park and when I went to Old Yankee Stadium. I don't know how you don't feel it. Wrigley's magnetic, man. There is something about when there's a game happening at Wrigley, you could be dropped into Wrigleyville with a blindfold, spun around, and they could take the blindfold off and you would go, Wrigley Field is that way. I don't know how I know that, but something is happening there. And if you build a different stadium, that's going to change. But the stadium's crumbling. Again, it's all the same conversation. You don't have to pick black or white. You don't have to pick good or bad. Dude, I can't believe it's 7:40 already. Holy cow, this is a day flying.
I mean, look at Kinnick Stadium. Kinnick is virtually the same, but it's been rebuilt, right? In a lot of ways, it's been rebuilt. And Ross says Kinnick Stadium would be different if you rebuilt it. Memorial Stadium as well. It's interesting you bring up Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. They're getting ready to do about $1 billion worth of renovations at Memorial Stadium.
$1 billion worth of renovations.
It's $600-700 million right now, but they haven't started, so you know that price is going to go up.
And again, Trav, the whole conversation, or you can spend that $1 billion to build something new, which isn't going to be the same. And
I think that's what they thought. They're like, well, we could move the stadium, we could have a lot more land, do a lot of things, but the pushback they would have got because just look at all these stadiums. Ohio State. The horseshoe isn't the original horseshoe anymore. I mean, look how many times that thing's been added on. Penn State literally just tore down like half of its side. I mean, they're rebuilding the stadium, but keeping it there to try to keep some of the original aspects of it so you don't feel like you're at a new place.
This is the ship of Theseus. It's the ship of Theseus. If you change all the pieces, is it still the same building? Is the horseshoe still the same horseshoe?
No. I thought about you this morning. I was going over a story about the ship of Theseus because there's a museum in Verona, Italy, and there's a Van Gogh chair in there. And these people,
saw this.
These people waited till everybody to leave to take a selfie by sitting down in the chair. There's a reason the chair is there in a museum that was, a Van Gogh chair. You don't sit in said chair. Chair collapses as soon as that. And I'm going to make an assumption that they're American. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to make the assumption off two things. They were fat. And then the guy was wearing a trucker hat. And you've been to Europe. You don't see that often. Trucker hats and fat people. Like when I go, because I'm a fat dude, yeah, you stick out. But then I thought they were able to save the chair and rebuild it, Ross. But is that the ship of Theseus? If you're using the same material, they were able to take the material and rebuild it. is that still the same chair? But you had to use materials to put the chair back together. Is it still the same chair? It is, but it is.
It's
but.
Yeah, it is, but.
Did you watch the U.S. Open over the weekend? JJ Spaun gets the win yesterday. He finishes at 1 under par. Only golfer to finish the U.S. Open under par. And he did about everything he could to give it away yesterday. He had 5 bogeys on the front 9. Came back and had a much better back 9. 4 bogeys or 4 birdies, 1 bogey. But 2 birdies to end, including a 64-foot putt on 18 that sealed the deal. 64 feet. You hear about all these greens, and what a way to go out. 34 years old, first major championship that Spaun has won.
So that's the definition. That 64-foot putt to end that thing. That's the definition of skill meets luck, right? I mean, every golfer's got to. Every golfer's got to acknowledge there's a shade of luck to that. At Oakmont, making a 64-foot putt,
100%.
Dudes were missing 3-footers. You read it right. You hit at the right speed. That's all the skill stuff. With how those greens were treating golfers all day, all week. Who was it? Did you see the golfer? Did you see the golfer that? Who was it that was cussing? F this place. F this effing place. They caught the mic, caught him. He like misses a tap in. It rims out. He goes up, he knocks it in, and the camera catches him go, F this effing place.
But was it good for the U.S. Open to have golfers? I mean, Victor Hovland was finished 3rd. John Rahm finished 7th at +4. Scotty Scheffler finished tied for 7th at +4. But you knew they really weren't going to win it. Was it good for the U.S. Open not to have those big names?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You kind of changed on me there. I thought you were going to ask, is it good or bad for the U.S. Open when the golfers are playing even golf? I don't think that matters as much as who is playing the even golf. Who is at the top of the leaderboard is absolutely what's going to drive the attention there. And that's in my mind, Travis. In my world and in my sphere of influence, if you've got the right names up there, you're going to have star power. Thank you.
100% star. I mean, when Rory, Bryson don't make the cut, when you got Scotty Scheffler so far down that I know he made a nice little run to get in the top 10, but it is the star power. It wasn't like, God, I got to tune in and watch this final round. It was an exciting finish, but again, with golfers, you don't really know. And I think that hurts when you have it such a difficult course set up because people want to see the names they know. Go back to the Caitlin Clark conversation we had in hour number 1. WNBA, with Caitlin Clark, we watch, or at least pay attention. Without Caitlin Clark, we'll just wait for her to come back. You see, Wisconsin football got put on probation?
For what?
Stupid. This is just impermissible phone calls. Got a $25,000 fine. Luke Fickell cannot have contact with high school recruits for like a week later on this month. And they got a 1-year probation for impermissible phone calls. Can we just get rid of stuff like this? I mean, coaches are recruiting year-round. Year-round. Saw a bunch of pictures this weekend with Kirk Ferentz hosting a bunch of guys. You know, it's like, hey, 2027 recruit, 2026 recruit. Can we modernize some of this stuff and just say, hey, if you want to call a kid, you're going to call a kid?
You know, Travis, this would be a really interesting conversation to bring some parents in on, or some of these athletes. I don't know. I want to agree with you. I want to say, yeah, that's stupid. We're telling people when they can pick up a phone and call another person to offer them an opportunity. That's dumb. That's dumb. But I feel like there's a part of me that thinks there's got to be some guidelines and there's got to be some regulations and restrictions on when and how for everybody, I think for the athlete, first of all, so you're not bombarded 365 days a year with stuff from the time you're in 8th grade until you graduate from college.
But didn't you sign up for that? I mean, if you're that elite of an athlete, didn't you kind of sign up for that?
No.
I think they did. Mom and dad did.
You signed up for constant nagging the phone just because your kid is good at something. Just because your kid excels at something, your kid has a natural ability in whatever sport, you now have to be on 24-hour guard of their phone and social medias, and you can't have dinner. No, I disagree with that. I think that there's got to be some sort of guidelines, but I don't know what that looks like, Travis. This is why I'd want to bring in other people to have this conversation. I do think there's got to be some time limits. Don't call before, don't call after these time frames in the day. And maybe even some for each sport but again, dude, what are we talking about? I love how you phrase things. We're talking about restricting people from picking up a phone and making an opportunity.
Because you don't have to pick up the phone on the other end. You can go, I'm not going to talk to Kirk Ferentz today.
Leave a message and I'll get back to you.
Leave a message. Or you just get a burner phone.
See, I was wondering that, Trav. I really did wonder about if teams send, like, I thought about this exact thing the other day. You know, all of a sudden it's like, all right, at 10 a.m., you can start making phone calls. Eli was showing me this thing for a young wrestler. There's a wrestler here in the community who is Southeast Polk wrestler. He just hit the window where his recruitment has opened, and he shared a screenshot of all the different schools that had reached out to him, and the entire country was filled with mascot logos. And I thought, how does that happen? How does that happen? Does Nick Mitchell, does he sit there and go, okay, well, I have to wait till 10:30 because at 10 o'clock, Cale Sanderson's calling him, and at 10:02, Brands is going to be calling, and so I just better wait till 10:30. Or do you go, no, I got to be the guy at 10 a.m.? And then what happens to that kid's phone at 10 a.m.? Or does Cale Sanderson, do the Brands, do they send that kid a phone?
No, I don't think that's the case. That would be illegal. That'd be an impermissible gift.
Would it? Would it to say, here, this phone is not yours to keep. This is your burner phone. We're going to use this to call you at 10 o'clock on Thursday, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm throwing things out here. And again, I love this. What are we really talking about? The head coach can't make a phone call? Oh, okay. Well, the kid's social media is out there. So Brad Heinrichs can't?
Well, Brad Heinrichs can because he's not affiliated with the university.
There you go. So now we're around. Now we've just created a guideline and a way around it. This is what Jamie Pollard was telling us about, right? These guys sit in a room and wring their hands trying to make rules, and the minute they close the door, they know the way around the rule.
Because if collectives aren't going away, you can get phone calls from anybody. Just an interesting 1-year probation.
All right, I got word back about cold storage up in Northwest Iowa. I love this. Greg goes, listen to our show before too, and today is the first day of the tractor ride. He said, I think you are thinking about the indoor ice arena at Sioux City. Youth hockey has been big for a long time in that area. They've had the Muskies, which have been around since I was in high school, and Grego's got to be in his 60s. I've listened to your podcast a few times. Love it. First day on the tractor ride. All good with us, GB. Good to hear from you, Grego.
I'm telling Grego he's wrong, though. Because if you go to Lamar's, there's like a plaque that says the birthplace of American hockey, and like the first indoor hockey arena is there.
I love it. Love it.
Again, that's a day trip.
Love the Iowa history. Remember, I was telling you, I need to post that video I have. Remember, I was telling you I found that plaque in the right by Union Park in Drake. It's like, oh yeah, this is the place where Chief Keokuk had his last ceremony before we drove him to Kansas. This seems important.
Well, you drive to Crawford, Nebraska, and there's historical markers all the way there. And I didn't realize what a significant part the state of Nebraska played in World War II, from German and Italian POW camps to secret airfields to where they were, doing test flights, to building the Enola Gay in Omaha.
I didn't. I'm just learning that right now.
Yeah, the Enola Gay was built here.
No kidding.
Yes.
Is that why they have the big museum out there, the Air and
Space Museum?
Air and Space?
That's not why, but it just because of Offutt Air Force Base is in all those planes that would come in. But yeah, the Enola Gay, the plane that dropped the bomb was built right here.
Paul Tibbets flew it. Paul Tibbets was from, oh, come on, Ross. That's another little map dot. Come on, Ross. Paul Tibbets was from the same tiny town that Merle Hay was from.
Really?
Yes. So maybe Google this while I'm saying. Paul Tibbets was the pilot of the Enola Gay, dropped the 2 bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Same small town as Merle Hay. Merle Hay was the first Iowa soldier killed in World War I, I believe.
He was born in Quincy, Illinois.
Who was? Paul Tibbets?
Yeah.
Then he must have, I know he lived in Glidden, Iowa. David says it's Glidden. Thank you, David. They have like a little shrine outside of town there for Paul Tibbets and Merle Hay.
Yeah, the family moved to Davenport and then to Des Moines, where he was raised.
Well, what in the heck? What am I missing here?
I don't know. That was a rabbit hole I didn't expect going down. All right, we got to wrap it up.
Love you, buddy.
Hey, tell a friend about us. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Nick Nurse, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, is going to join us on the Rush Radio Show at 7:30. Look forward to talking to Nick. And we'll start the show at 6 o'clock. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Mini of Des Moines. We got some great things going on this month. This month, you can lease an all-new Countryman S for as low as $369 a month for 39 months. You can lease an all-new Cooper S hardtop for $319 a month. And right now, we have rates as low as $2.99 out to 48. For more information, come see your favorite Mini motoring advisor or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, You'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager at Mini of Des Moines. School is out and summer is here. Before you hit the road for your motoring adventures, visit us for your oil changes, get your AC checked out, or make sure your tires are roadworthy. Give us a call to schedule or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.